Do you think tiger poaching is a bad thing?
I do think it's a bad thing because they are an endangered species and we should not be taking measures to kill them further.
What do you guys think about killing an endangered species?
We think it's bad. Really.
What do you think about tiger poaching?
I think it's obviously a bad thing and it upsets the balances in nature.
What if the people are using it for medical purposes, though?
Well, even if it's like for medical reasons, the question still stands, like, why should they give up their lives in order for us to be okay when they're endangered and we're not?
Do you think killing an endangered species is a bad thing?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a bad thing. We have to, I think it's our duty to, protect animals and everything and keep them safe and, they're not around for long, so we need it for their species.
Do you think tiger poaching is a bad thing?
Yes, because they're endangered.
Do you think tiger killings are a bad thing?
Yes, because tigers are endangered, and you're gonna kill them off. I mean, why would you do that?
Do you think tiger poaching is a bad thing?
Yes.
What if it's for cultural purposes?
As long as the tigers that are being killed are not endangered. Like, if the killing is like only a couple of tigers just for like medicine purposes, then it's fine. But if it's like endangering the species or like in a specific area, they're all being killed, then it's not good.
What do you think about tiger poaching?
Tiger poaching is really bad in today's society. Tigers are going extinct due to all the poaching that's occurring to them. Alright, we as human beings need to stop other human beings from poaching the tigers, because they're special to us. Tigers cannot be replaced. Human beings can also not be replaced.
What are you talking about?
Do you think tiger poaching is bad?
Well, it depends.
If they use tiger parts for medical purposes, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's okay.
What do you think about tiger poaching?
Well, I'm actually opposed to any kind of killing of endangered species, and so I'm totally opposed to really killing any kinds of animals like wild, some of the animals that are in Africa now that are endangered.
Tiger poaching, the illegal practice of hunting and killing tigers. Seen around the world, but predominantly in the Eastern Hemisphere in nations such as China, India, Vietnam, and others. Historically, tiger poaching has been considered to be a manly and courageous act, as its doing has often been rewarded with game trophies symbolic of prestige and valor. For example, in China, tigers were perceived to be a threat to human life. Thus, those who would kill them were hailed as heroes by the public. In India, tiger poaching was established as a royal sport for centuries. The repercussions were drastic, for after a mere 100 years, the tiger populace in India was reduced from 40,000 tigers to less than 1,800 tigers. As of 1986, the world began to discover that tiger populations were declining rapidly.
In the 1970s all the way to 2010, the percent of the tiger population has decreased. From 1970 to 2010, the population has decreased by approximately 30,000 tigers. It is predicted that if action is to take place, the population will increase by at least 1,600 tigers. However, if no action takes place by 2040, the population will flatline and there will be no tigers left in the world. The black market in China contributes to this decrease. Parts of tigers can be sold for up to $50,000 in China's black market. China claimed in 2010 to want to preserve tiger populations. However, their actions don't match what they say. Tigers used to span from East Turkey to Far East Russia, China and India, and in many large islands in the Asian continent. The poaching has caused the tigers to disappear from 93% of the former habitat range. There are less than 50 wild tigers in China today due to the fact that the government is now considering to legalize trade in tiger parts. Much of the poaching is for Chinese medicine, which drives the Chinese black market. In 1998, the Cambodian tiger population crashed because of the uprise in tiger poaching. Because the poaching rate has increased, so has the extinction rate. Punishments for poaching is a rare thing in Cambodia. Guns are confiscated, but that's all that's done. The poachers basically have a free-for-all hunting spree in Cambodia, and the uses of tiger parts is quite disturbing. What seems to be a great delicacy throughout the Asian continent is tiger penis. They make soup, wine, rice, and many other things out of this tiger part, and everything costs over $320. Remedies made from tiger parts are always readily available because the Cambodian government system does little to stop this act. There is a large demand for tiger parts, and if one is to use them, it symbolizes high status and wealth. The use of tiger parts isn't to benefit health, but for cultural pride and status. In Cambodia, at least one tiger is killed for its parts every single day. Examples of what the parts are used for: the claws are used to cure insomnia, the teeth are used to treat fever, fat to cure leprosy and rheumatism, nose leather for bites and scratches, bones for weakness, eyeballs for epilepsy and malaria, tail for skin disease, bile for convulsions in children, whiskers for toothaches, brain for laziness and pimples, the penis for love potions and is used as an aphrodisiac, and the dung for boils. All these parts are very costly, which feeds the ego of cultural pride in Cambodia. In Thailand, there has been rampant use of insecticides and poison that tiger poachers use to rub all over elephant meat and use as bait to bait the tigers. The tigers eat the meat and within 24 hours are dead on the spot, and their bodies are now taken to be sold for their parts and different uses. In the Huay Kakang Zoo in Thailand, there are 38 tigers that are identified, when there are actually supposed to be 65 of them in the zoo. In the wild, only 200 remain. To prevent tiger poaching and the mysterious disappearance of tigers in the zoo, Thailand has hired 200 rangers on guard within a 3,000 square mile radius. These rangers are trained to combat any poachers that come near in search of a tiger. Tiger poaching is a large industry in many countries. Thailand is one of the most prominent consumers of tiger parts, and their domestic market is on the rise. Two hotspots include the route from Thailand to Burma and the other from Thailand to Cambodia. These hotspots access their tigers through smuggling, and smuggling isn't a very hard thing to accomplish because of the fact that the Thai government does little to stop the illegal trade.
Tigers are hunted free of their body parts in the Oriental medicinal market. Tiger bones have been used in traditional Chinese medicine for over 1,000 years. For example, the bones of the tigers are used to cure joint and back aches, paralysis, and even muscular spasms. Tonic wines created from the bones are among the most popular of these medicines. The wine is made by soaking the bones or the entire skeleton into alcohol until the bone disintegrates and forming what is commonly called the tiger wine. Believers in the medicinal properties of the tiger parts claim that the tiger bone tonic remedies muscle pain, rheumatism, arthritis, and paralysis, and is even said to stimulate blood flow. Now, the belief in the efficiency of tiger parts for treating illness is deeply rooted into the traditional and cultural in local cultures.
Until recently, habitat loss was thought to be the largest single threat to the future of wild tigers in India. It has now been established that the trade in tiger bones, destined for use in oriental medicine outside India's borders, is posing an even larger threat. Far Eastern traditional medicine manufacturers are now targeting India for their supply of tiger bones. Poaching of tigers for the traditional Chinese medicine industry started in northern India. The use of endangered tiger products in their medicines is seen as a symbol of high status and wealth. Some remedies list tiger parts as an ingredient, but the real animal parts are so expensive that often the medicines may have only trace elements. But even this is enough to promote the continued slaughter of the tiger. Different tiger parts, including claws, teeth, and whiskers, are also believed to provide good luck and protective powers. India took a lead in tiger conservation by forming the Global Tiger Forum, GTF, an international body established with members from willing countries to embark on a global campaign to protect the animal. 6 countries, including Russia and China, have sought India's help to replicate Project Tiger, one of the most successful conservation programs running in the country to protect the big cats from extinction. Last year, a state in western India even allowed forest guards to shoot hunters on sight in an effort to curb rampant attacks on tigers and other wildlife. The government in the area declared that injuring or killing suspected poachers would no longer be considered a crime.
About 150 Chinese tigers are killed each year by poachers, 5% of the world's wild tiger population, according to Yuri Fedotov, head of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. There are less than 50 wild tigers in China today. The South China tiger has not been seen in the wild in over 20 years, and many fear it has joined a growing list of extinct subspecies. The Chinese government banned the trade of tiger parts in 1993, which somewhat halted the decline. but it has also sanctioned the setting up of controversial captive breeding farms home to more than 6,000 tigers, from which parts are often harvested. The Chinese government thinks the farms are not that big of a negative for conservation, according to Zhu Hongfa, Chinese head of traffic, a wildlife group leading up the campaign to stop tiger trade. But if China reopens trade, he says, the increased demand will be difficult to control. Although traditional Chinese medicine leaders say that they no longer need or want tiger bone medication, and although international tiger trade parts is illegal, there is still demand for such products, bringing in a total of $5 million in profits each year. In order to protect their native tiger population, the Chinese government created the Tiger Recovery Program, which will last until 2022, and aims to increase the areas of and improve the quality of tiger habitats, establish monitoring and patrolling systems, balance tiger conservation with the local economy, crack down on poaching, smuggling, and the illegal trade of tiger products, and enhance international exchange and cooperation on tiger conservation. The program focuses on major tiger provinces such as Hunan and Guangdong Province as well as Tibet. In 2010, the World Wildlife Fund of China launched a bold but achievable goal called TX2, which aims to double the number of tigers in the wild by 2022. The Chinese government also attended the Tiger Summit, which was held in St. Petersburg, Russia in November 2010, in order to plan for the conservation of their tiger population.
South Korea openly and legally traded in tiger parts until July of 1993. In the final year, the volume of trade rose sharply, a move naturally interpreted as the stockpiling of tiger products in anticipation of a ban. In 1993, South Korea became a signatory to CITES, the Convention on Trade in Endangered Species. However, the sale of tiger bone in South Korea will be banned in 1994, including the body parts and drugs of tiger products.
The organization Traffic was established to monitor the world's trade in wildlife on behalf of the Worldwide Fund for Nature. The organization set up undercover operations and revealed a large poaching trade in Delhi. In a single raid, police in New Delhi found an 800-pound tiger bones, reckoned to be what was left of 42 tigers. But any judicial system in the world is amenable to the manipulation of the rich and powerful, and India is no exception to that rule. Quick and successful prosecutions of people involved in the tiger trade have not materialized.
For prevention, several Asian nations, including South Korea, have endorsed strict protections for tigers in what is known as the Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species, otherwise known as CITES. The regulations require the countries to enforce laws banning the trade of tiger parts, preserve tiger habitats, and form a regional network to halt tiger trade. However, regrettably, a lack of government resolve and corruption at the highest levels of authority have thwarted enforcement of other wildlife agreements that the nations have signed. Yet despite this, South Korea has continued to endorse efforts for protection of the tiger habitats in its borders.
Tiger parts are used for many religious aspects. For example, tiger skin is dipped in holy water, and some tribes wear the skin as clothes with their heads to their tiger's mouth. This action represents strength, and the tiger fat is burned as incense for the gods. In turn, the ones who practice this are blessed and please their gods.
The tiger appears in many ancient Asian cultures and is often associated with power or fear. Many of the gods and heroes of these cultures wore tiger skins, especially the tutelary gods, earning the tiger some association with wisdom. Even medieval Europeans associate the tiger with immense power, as it is written in William Blake's Song of Experience, written in 1794, Tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forests of the night, what a mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry.
Commercial poaching exists because there is a demand for these products, caused by a lack of education or disregard for the law among the buyers. For example, tiger bones can fetch a price of about $100. Tonic wines are created from the bones of tigers. It is sold in small doses, drunk several times a day, and prices are thought to vary from about $100 to $760 per vial.
WWF or the Worldwide Fund for Nature, is an international, non-governmental organization working on problematic issues regarding the conservation, restoration, and research of the environment. It is the world's largest independent conservation organization with over 5 million supporters worldwide, based in more than 100 countries, and currently supporting around 1,300 conservation and environmental projects. Of these many projects, the acute issue of tiger poaching is one of utmost importance for this organization. According to WWF, the world has witnessed a loss of 97% of wild tigers in just over a century. With as few as 3,200 remaining, direct action is seen as mandatory in order to strengthen the tiger habitat and protect the species from major threats, such as that of the devastating practice of tiger poaching.